We're at the St. John's Golf Club today. Beautiful morning here. Looking forward to 1 week from now, this golf course reopens again. I'm with Erik Larsen, the course architect, and Wes Tucker, who's the general manager and director of golf. And I'm wondering, 1 week out, just what type of anticipation each of you have got for this golf course opening.
So I'll go first. Yeah, I'm really anticipating everybody coming out and seeing a nice, fresh golf course that's been redesigned for more playability, for more players to be using it and utilizing the facility in general.
Erik?
Well, I know for a fact that we have repaired the golf course. So Wes and County are going to be able to hold events and tournaments now shortly after inclement weather where they could not before. So job one was done, is to get the golf course fixed. But there's always a little architect's anxiety, if you will, of how are people going to react to the way it plays. I think we've made a very playable golf course, very enjoyable, and it's different than anything around. So I'm optimistic that people are going to really enjoy this golf course. First time out, and even more important is that they're going to want to come back.
Again, I expand on that a little
Please.
bit with what Erik's done, and with improving the drainage, improving the greens, and doing the refresh that the course definitely needed. We should see more visitors. I mean, so it should help our bottom line and us to recoup our investment on it as we go forward.
We're sitting on the back porch here, and just over Erik and Wes's right shoulder is the 18th green. Here's the 10th tee, and behind me is the 9th green. So maybe each one of you, if you would, explain how bringing all the golf course closer to the clubhouse is going to be beneficial, if you would.
Well, golf is for fun. It's for being out in the outdoors and enjoying yourself, but it's really about social interaction, bringing people together to have fun in a form of recreation, unlike any. And in order to do that, we accomplished it here by bringing the driving range, the putting green, a little short game area, 9 green, 10 green, and 18 green, all in here gathered around this back patio, which is going to be a social hub for the facility. And people you can sit here and hoot and holler at the other foursome, on the 18th green. You can watch tee shots right here. That's all fun. That's really what we're trying to create here, and it's about getting people in here close together and really enjoying themselves. I think we did that pretty well here.
And I think the other players in your group, after they finish, you've got your club championship. They could be up here watching you on 18 green, and they can see the putt drop. So I see the anticipation, and I think it'll help food and beverage sales up here with the driving range and the putting green and the short game area being closer to the clubhouse. I see more sales on all of those, more activity. I think there's, when you have that hub of activity, and Erik said it well, when you have that hub of activity, more people want to utilize it and keep using it and using it again. And then one of the things that we did here is with that huge driving range tee, we're all grass. Which means that you're not hitting off of mats, which I believe the public likes. So all those things go into making it a more fun experience. The 3 holes on the short game area, the 3 greens. I think you call it the Wee Links.
Yeah, Wee Links.
Yeah, so you can play it as 3 little holes. You can have 3 groups out there practicing their short game. I think it's fun. I think there should be excitement when somebody comes here. And utilizes the facility.
I'm really glad to hear Wes talk about food and beverage, which is not my part of the deal, but I do know, have been around it long enough to know that a golf facility really kind of breaks down to 2 parts, and it's the golf course itself, and then it's the operation here and what goes into the food and beverage part particularly, and that's going to that's going to be well received. You're going to be able. This is a fun spot, even for people that don't golf, to come here and hang out and enjoy the activity.
Yeah, something I failed to mention is right behind the cameras is the revitalized restaurant and bar. So I would think that your bar tab will probably be a little bit larger as a result of this too, right?
Let's hope so.
I think people will hang out. I really do. The nice patio, tables out here, the expanded interior of the clubhouse with great views because it's all storefront windows and doors, just brings the outside in. And I think the customers are really, really going to enjoy that and hang around more often.
Let me layer on what Wes just said. He hit an interesting point about great views, and this relates to the design of the golf course and what happened. We simpled out Wes and I were kicking around early on how we wanted the golf course to come out, and it really needed to be simple, easy, fun. You still can set it up for tournaments and have some challenge. But we got kicking around the idea of doing a throwback golf course, a Renaissance style, and we both enjoy that. We did some homework, went to a couple places. I've studied it a lot and understand that style, and so we simpled out the shaping of the golf course and what happened there. I knew it was going to happen, but it wasn't quite. You never really quite know till it's built how it opened up vistas of the place, of the golf course. There were a lot of mounds that restricted views, and in this case, when we simpled those out, we opened up these big vistas. Behind me is a big, you can see it to both sides of the trees. That's the center of this golf course is a huge wetlands with lakes, big blue lakes surrounding these wetlands, and we create the views of the wetlands and the lakes opened up so well. And now you're in this big place, this big, fun, gracious use of space. It came out really good. The views are such a critical part of a golf course, and we opened those up here.
From a business perspective, from each of you, I think in the last 5 years, the National Golf Foundation said 80% of the work done on golf courses has been redos or revitalizations. Maybe from an architect's perspective and also an owner management perspective, give me some of the essentials you're looking for when you redo a golf course.
Well, when we redo a golf course, when I redo a golf course, I'm trying to look at it first from the owner's perspective. I mean, it only works if people come play the golf course. And in this case, my old mantra is form follows function. Function means its ability to grow quality turf, for it to be playable. Those pieces were broken at this golf course. It didn't drain well at all. Features were not built, had been outdated, or were failing. The irrigation system was shot, 100% shot. And the grass was contaminated. So other than that, it was really good. But the layout was good. And an old colleague and mentor, actually, Bob Walker, did the original layout. We changed it. We opened some holes that were closed and closed some that were open to create a little more flowing golf course. But we fixed the drainage first so that after bad weather, Wes is able to have tournaments, can count on it being dry, can have events. Was a big part of this. Second is to create an interesting design character of its own so that it attracts people. People like being here to play. And then I always do 5 or 6 sets of tees so that you can play based on the level of play that you are, level of player. The whole thing, as I said earlier, the whole thing really is you want them to enjoy it immediately. It's got to have the wow factor of, wow, this is really nice. But also when they finish, they make that last putt, come in and have the cold beer and the cheeseburger, they say, let's go back. Let's go back often. We like this place. Helps fill the tee sheet.
Yeah, so from our side, the infrastructure, was a big deal. Making it so we could open more often, which Erik's already addressed. Making it so people can count on it being open when they get here. people would cancel when a cloud would go by because they knew that if it rained, we were going to be shut down for the afternoon, next morning maybe, and it's hard to operate that way. So fixing those components that Erik listed was very important, making it interesting, public friendly. We had a few battles out there on bunker placement and so on to keep it public friendly, which was fun. You know, we definitely talked about things as we went along, and Erik was awesome at you know, working through the process and explaining things.
Wes is benevolent. I would have made it a little harder on y'all, but Wes is your good guy. That's why he's been here for so long.
Yeah, and it's important, you know, for the player to get around on a public golf course, for pace of play, which is another reason people come back. You know, if the rounds are long, they don't want to come back. If the rounds move around, they want to come back. And the interesting features are more around water. I think we have 9 greens on water now, but there's always a bailout. Erik's given you a bailout on every one of those holes. In a way to play it away from the water. So making it interesting, fair, friendly, playable.
And you know, that was a lesson, to Wes's point, that was a lesson I learned from Arnold Palmer in all those years. His design input to me and to us, to the guys in the office, was minimal, but it was very basic in that, one, when you're building a golf course, you're working for an owner, it's other people's money. Do it well and spend the money with integrity. Do it right. And 2, in the design piece himself, was make it fun for everybody first. Make it fun for the people that play it more often so they come back. But yes, you do have to have the challenge that you can have an event. Right. Good players can come and walk off and say, hey, I was challenged there. And 3rd, he always talked about beauty. Make them beautiful. Make it a wow. Make it a wow golf course. If they come off, you know, then you don't have much. But when people come off and they really enjoyed themselves, you can see them smiling, right? Simple as that. We're out here trying to create fun, and was an important lesson from Arnold.
Playing off of that a little bit, there's been a terrific amount of buzz because people have been out of the golf course here for a while, and now they're going to come back to something completely different. Maybe give me just somebody that's maybe spoken to you that really made an impact for you, or they're just really anticipating this course opening, each one of you, if you would.
Can you say Biarritz, which is a green invented 150 years ago in the town of Biarritz, France, that are 2 decks with a valley in between. There's nothing like that around. It's different, it's interesting. It's the 2nd hole. People are going to play it and go, what just happened? It's different, and that's going to create a lot of interest.
Okay. Wes?
Yeah, and I think I've taken a lot of the area golf professionals around, and as they go around the course, they note the features, and they all say, hey, this just looks fun to play. You know, we want to be here. We want to play events here and so on. And I think we're going to get the same response from the general public. I brought Jaga out early on. They've got an event here in May. They really liked what they saw. And at that point, we were dirt. You know, they were just seeing basic shaping at that point. We had not grassed. I don't think we grassed till late May, maybe early June. So just the different features, the wider fairways and those things that make it fun, but it's still got that little bite because the 9 greens are against water, you know, the features are there, the bunkers and so on. And one of the features that I really love, and my maintenance crew really loves, are the flat bunkers with the zoysia faces.
Coffin bunkers, call them.
Perfect. And they're easy to maintain for us. We actually had 29 on the original plan, built 59, with less square footage of the 29. We're going to be able to hand rake them, so no mechanical raking in there. They're easy for the player to walk in because there's always a flat side to walk in and out of. And they're not big enough where it's a long distance to walk around them. We've got a couple, 9 and 18 for the View and the Vista, where they're a little bit bigger. But the rest of them are, very, very manageable as far as size is concerned.
Yeah, and to the point about accessible, the golf course is completely handicap accessible. Tees, fairways, greens, bunkers, and these bunkers certainly are that. It's interesting. The term is coffin bunker, and it looks like a coffin with the lid open. They're not death. You're not dead if you play if you get in them, because you can't play out of it. But it's an interesting look. Square greens, square tees, very rectilinear fairway cut lines, so you get these geometric shapes that are contrasting to being out in nature, right? So they become more vivid. They become more. They create interest, and the interest creates fun. So that's the name of the game.
Lastly, since no one's played this golf course, each one of you give maybe one piece of advice about what you would tell the golfer when he comes here to play. What you think from an architect and from a director of golf. I suppose we'll hear two different pieces of advice here.
So I'm going to say something that I learned from Erik along the way, that he shows you how to play the hole. He puts his bunkers out there and he shows you how to play the hole. So if you pay attention to where the bunker is, he's telling you to play a little left of it, a little right of it, and that's the way the green complex opens up. So if you hear that little piece of advice, you know how to play the golf course from day one.
I don't think I could have said that better, actually. I have learned from way back from Arnold also, but also from studies of Donald Ross and the great old architects, the design theory of risk versus reward. And I strictly adhere to that, whereas the closer you hit to a hazard and manage the shot, that you're not in the hazard, the more the golf hole opens up for you to the next hole. It gives you the key to unlock the box all the way through the green. Greens tend to even be bunkered on one side. The green will be flatter along the edge of the bunker. So if you've challenged a greenside bunker, you've got a fairly flat putt. The farther you play away from hazards, the more difficult the angles are to attack the hole after that. I think you're going to find specifically par threes, you better bring your A game here. If you can drive the ball long and well, you'll be able to get the ball to the right pin placement, get close to the pin placements, and score it. It's scoreable.
Okay. All right. Good enough. You got a question, Jorge?
No, it's great. I'm an inner city ball, so my thing was stick ball, the small broomstick. But no, this golf course really looks beautiful. I've been here before the transformation, and I think that's very important, that people really love the place they're at, whatever they're doing, whether they're playing golf or having a picnic.
No doubt. Sure.
Psychologically, there's a therapy in it that you can't match it with anything. So kudos to you, gentlemen. I believe you really created a little masterpiece here in St. Johns County.
Thank you, Jorge.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate that.
Awesome. Good deal. Thank you, Jan.